everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today. And with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts. We got Brian, a.k.a. New Reliable, a.k.a. the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative. And Devin, also known as Mr. Nowhere. How you guys doing?
My fifis are gonna hurt, bro. I've gotta be obviously I am the villain, let's be real, but
Yo, I mean, if anyone who's listened to this podcast, I think they know why you...
do I get a redemption arc? Am I an anti-hero at any point in the comments?
Yeah. I think so.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I think Brian's very fair and even-handed and very positive for something.
I'm drinking soju for the first time. It's a Korean rice wine. I don't know if anyone doesn't know what soju is. I've been trying to find it forever. It tastes like cough syrup. It's just disgusting.
Oh,
Ooh.
God, really?
It might just be this flavor. But
yeah. I feel like I've had it once, but I honestly can't remember. But it's good.
Yeah, I've had sake, but I've never had soju
right.
before. So this has been an interesting experience for me.
Is it sold like in a beer?
Total Wine and Beer had it. And I was like, oh,
Ooh.
that's interesting. I'll give it a try.
What flavor do I need to know to avoid?
The strawberry is good. The green grape is absolutely disgusting. It tastes like Robitussin.
Oh,
It literally tastes like I'm drinking a Robitussin right now.
Yeah, yikes.
Feels illegal.
grape in general for flavored drinks is
It's not a
always
good
bad
flavor.
move, yeah.
It's
Right.
it's
Very
pretty rough.
fake.
Well, that was Berry Corner, everyone. Now that we're done with that, guys, got a big show today. I think a show a lot of people have been anticipating for over a year, or about a year nearly at this point. But now, before we get to that, let's just get to our first topic of the week.
News talk.
First piece of news: Stranger Things is getting a fucking play in London's West End called The First Shadow. Oh, first of all, spoilers for Stranger Things up to this point, listeners. If you want to avoid that, skip this section. Also, check the time codes if you want to avoid any spoilers and or skip to certain sections. So it's focusing on Henry Creel's character, which was introduced in season 4 of the Stranger Things. He is the dude, the lone survivor of Vecna. I'm kind of intrigued by this, to be honest. This reminds me very much of the Harry Potter Cursed Child book that was actually played a couple years ago, and it was a future story about Harry and the gang being adults and their kids type of thing. This very, very much reminds me of that, obviously the opposite direction, prequel level, but yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a tragedy / horror play, I guess, because it's not a fun story to tell.
Right. My big thing is, are they gonna film it and put it somewhere, like maybe on Netflix? Because I would love to see it, but I'm
Right.
never gonna see it in this capacity.
Not going to London, yeah.
Right. I'm not that big of a Stranger Things stan.
I also
Right.
feel like it would feel like that Avengers play in the Hawkeye show, which I heard is also going to be a real thing as well. But
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a play of Stranger Things where they do obviously dramatic play stuff and there's like props moving on the stage in the background and stuff. I feel like it's just going to feel so like a parody of itself, like, just kind of weird. Goofy.
I don't know. Well, I as someone who has seen that Harry Potter play years ago, I'm kind of excited for them to introduce what a lot of people called theater magic, in the sense that there's some things in that Harry Potter show that are unexplainable to me to this day. I don't know how they do some of this stuff. So I think if they can incorporate some of that cool but Stranger Things twisting magic stuff in that show, I think it actually could be really cool. Obviously, the story needs to be good, but I'm mostly interested, in how it's all gonna work out, and will they have a Kate Bush number in there?
Oh yeah,
Kate Bush collecting them checks, baby, one by one. Let's go. Yeah, the biggest thing for me would probably be like, how seriously are they taking this? Like, if they're making this like a deep, in-depth story, it'll be great. If it's gonna feel flat and kind of goofy, then don't waste your time. Don't do it.
Right.
But it depends on how much of a cash grab this is, or if this is made in good faith with like people that are actually into the craft, which I hope so. Netflix is not known for being into the craft. Let's be real.
Right. Also, I made a mistake. I don't know if I said Victor Creel or Henry Creel, but it's Henry Creel is who it's about, and that is Vecna.
That is Vecna. Yeah.
It's not going to be about Victor Creel, who survived. It's about Henry Creel first going to Indiana and his origin story, basically.
Which is an interesting story that they do touch in season 4 that I did enjoy a whole lot. It's a tragic story.
I had questions about, which is what I need answers. So I'm hoping this answers them. Mainly like, what the fuck, this boy get magic spider powers or some shit, I need to know.
The goopy goops are gross. The end.
The fuck?
I don't know.
The fuck? I need an answer.
there was a whole X-Men side of the show that they never got into except for like one episode. Like it's like, the Stranger Things, they focus on the upside down. It's like, but there are definitely people in this world that have like abilities.
They're mutants. Yeah.
And they only use them for like Elle's character development. That's it. Like
right. I need to know. I need to know. But that could be kind of exciting. We'll see. Next piece and final piece of news. Bit of a slow week this week, listeners. This just came out earlier today, I believe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem got its first teaser trailer. It's an animated new TMNT movie. Seth Rogen, I believe, is producing, and he's also in it as either Bebop or Rocksteady, one of the two. John Cena is the other one. Obviously, very inspired by Into the Spider-Verse in terms of art style, which I'm slightly worried about. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a Nickelodeon production, so that says a lot already from me of like how much heart are we putting into this? Are we just trying to get big names to make this movie seem like it's interesting? And there's going to be another Scoob that came out in 2020. That was a Scooby-Doo remake that was just really, really fucking not made in good faith. It was a really bad movie. That being said, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think this looks pretty interesting. I do like the art style. It does look like they actually put effort into it. So if anyone's doing well, the art team is doing their thing. Whether they stole ideas or not, that's whatever. I'm thinking that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is really having its Sonic the Hedgehog kind of like feel right now. Shredder's Revenge was an amazing game that did really well. And now this coming out, like they're getting there. It seems like they're due right now. So hopefully this isn't going to be the thing that, crashes and burns and then makes us be like, ew, we don't want Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the next, 10 years after this.
Right. I do really like that they are clearly kids. They're teenagers and voiced by, I would imagine, at least young actors. Like you were saying, it's not Michael B. Jordan, Zac Efron. You know what I mean?
God, I'd be so pissed.
I'm not crazy about their overall look. I think it's just a tasting, and I'm hoping if the movie's fine, obviously I won't care.
Ever since their most recent TV show, I've not been a fan of this weird, like, I don't want to say weird, but like this simplified look. And that's just kind of my issue, I think, with animation as a whole in this space right now. Everything's very simple in like this version of the animation world right now, outside of things like, Spider-Man and stuff like that. And it's like, I can't get behind it. I think that you can do better and show better. Splinter has an afro. Devin.
Yeah, I saw it for a split second.
Right. So. I believe voiced by Jackie Chan, so that'll be fun.
That's funny.
But yeah, this should be, I'm hoping this is fun. I hope it's good, and I hope people enjoy this. Obviously, I think kids are going to probably love the shit out of this, but I hope it's on an emotional level as a Spider-Verse.
Exactly. I'm hoping it's not too childish.
That is that's a high bar.
No, I'm not, yeah,
very high bar.
I just hope it's not just a children's movie, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. That is the news. Everyone, guys, should we now hop into our main topic of the week?
Oh, we're ready for it.
We've been waiting, listeners.
And guess what? We have to wait even more.
But we did get an hour-long taste of what we think is the finale, because we are in the Fourtress of
Attack on Titan final season part 3.5.
Part 3.1. Part 1. Yes.
Version beta 1.
It's part 3.1.
I preferred my title that I wrote in our traditional document, which was Attack on Titan, final season, the final chapter, special 1, which is what they call it, but also adding 358 over 2 days, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, The Rumble in the Jungle.
Oh my God.
You're not even wrong, though. That's the worst part about it. I've never seen anything been drawn out longer than a fucking... Oh God, I feel like Goku and Frieza's battle was shorter than this shit. This entire fucking God damn.
Are they like releasing these in theaters in Japan or something? That's the only thing that can make this make sense. I would have been happier if
Mappa animators are just tired. You know what happened? They finished animating this 2 days ago. They fell asleep at their desk while it was uploading. It came to Crunchyroll. That's why it came to Crunchyroll so late. I feel like it was because they just weren't fucking finished with it yet. Like, it's so crazy.
They had like a guy drawing like on
he's actually
get it quick. We gotta go.
Yeah, this show's like only like 30 seconds behind him drawing.
You know what it is? It's not a projectionist in the booth. It's a dude with a notepad drawing, and he's flipping the notepad like an old school like little piece of paper. He's just flipping the drawing as the animations.
It's live. The voice actors are in the studio right now.
But like, that being said, just release it. Just wait. Like, you can finish this today and then work on the next one. Just release it together as the finale, as like a movie.
You're absolutely not wrong. However, before we get into spoilers, I will say I very much enjoyed the hell out of this. This was a thrilling hour of TV for me.
But here's my issue with it is that they've left us on cliffhangers with stuff incomplete for the last like 2 or 3 times that they've like a season cliffhanger. I get, okay, to like leave on another cliffhanger now when people are expecting, like me, you know, I wasn't paying attention. It's like, oh, it's not coming out like, you know, soon. It's like fucking 6 months.
No. You got to tell the listeners when you thought that it was gonna finish.
Like next week. It would be like, oh, I'll just do it. Like next week, I can't wait to see how Attack on Titan the story finally ends next Friday, March.
And that's the thing. I don't
13th.
even want to give them as much credit as you're giving them right now with the cliffhangers and stuff, because season cliffhangers usually have to have some kind of exposition in order to feel full and make you feel good about what's happening.
Right.
There was the season before this ended on such a hard cliffhanger it cut to black because a motherfucker popped out of a building. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good writing. And I love this show. I think it's one of the best anime that might have come on TV in recent years, if not one of the best anime, period. Mm-hmm. But the way they're releasing this is atrocious. It's an atrocity.
It kills the hype, really, because at this point I'm just tired. I just want to know how this story ends. Like, if they could have finished it in one go, like a movie would be perfect. But like now I'm just pissed. I just want it to be over. I just want to know how this ends. And like I've felt that way for like 2 years now.
And that's my biggest fear. As I've now read the manga, for people know, so I know how it ends.
Right.
Not everyone is happy about the way that this show ends. That is kind of the big divisive part about this. Leading them on for this long is only going to make it worse. If you had peeled the Band-Aid off right then and there, you might have had a good show that's considered good. Now I'm really, really worried about how the audience is going to feel about how this goes.
Like, what if Game of Thrones had ended the final season where just we get one episode every 3 months of the final season, and it made a shitty ending? It
could very well end up as sour tasted as that show.
Awesome.
And that really makes me nervous.
So glad I've been watching this since 2013. Like, now that I know the ending sense.
I can only talk so much, obviously, because I just like fucking jabbing at you guys for having the patience of a raisin. But clearly, I can say that as a person who only started watching this in 2022.
You bastard. You didn't have to wait.
My patience is 9 years younger than yours.
Yes.
Must be nice.
Yes.
So I totally understand, and it is a weird thing that they're doing. And yes, we've all agreed that they should have just saved this and I thought in the theory, they put this out as a big 2.5 hour movie. Put it in theaters. They'll make so much money. This is the big finale.
Yes.
Clearly, it doesn't seem like they're doing that. But obviously, I'm still fucking hyped because I am not as burnt out as you guys are.
I'm so burnt out, dude. I'm so burnt out.
I totally understand.
Don't ever say ODM gear to me ever again. All right? Titan. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Now I know how the people that read Game of Thrones in the 90s feel.
Oh my God.
You know, you're not wrong, dude. And are still feeling somewhat. You know, like that's just feeling that.
Who will likely feel that way until they die because it's never going to finish it.
Very, very fucking true. But yeah, Brian, to hit the little quick piece of news that I had put on our little document as well, that I was refreshing Crunchyroll for like an hour and a half on Friday morning, waiting for this shit and nothing. And eventually I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go see Creed 3. Fuck it, I'll waste some time to see Creed. And then I got back, and only when I got back had it just now apparently appeared on there. I was like, holy shit, this shit's like 8 hours late. What the fuck happened?
It was supposed to be on like 10:30 our time because it showed at like midnight Japan time.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know what happened. The whole thing about simulcast was supposed to be like Crunchyroll was supposed to already have it, subtitled and ready to go. Almost like maybe like an hour later at the latest. Like, that's their little like, promise.
Oh, man.
I don't know what happened.
I love the idea of them just having like the final animation just hot off the press. Like, get it over to the digitizer. Like,
right. That's why, because it was so hot they couldn't physically touch it yet. They were waiting for that bitch to dry and then they could pick it up.
Literally finished the animating at like 11 p.m. in Japan. It's like, quick, all right, we only got an hour.
I really hope it was someone on a computer having to type the subtitles. That's what was taking so long.
I will always be curious. I really hope that ends up leaking at some point to know what the fuck happened there. Because people were ravenous for this. People on Twitter fucking pissed.
I bet.
It was quite hilarious. Well, there you go, listeners. That's a long preamble, but now let's get into this. Spoilers from here on out for all of Attack on Titan, including this special, whatever they're calling them.
Mega
whatever.
episode.
This was broken up, basically 2 episodes in one. They broke it up into 2 pieces. Chapter 1, The Rumbling, and Chapter 2, Sinners.
Ooh.
Speaking of The Rumbling, let's hit that point first. Let's talk
Oh.
about Aaron, his quote unquote remorse, and The
Nope.
Rumbling.
Nope.
Okay, so Devin?
I'm not buying this at all. I'm not buying this whatsoever. He has been villainous as fuck for like 2 full seasons now. And then he started this, he's doing it. You committed. You said, I'm the one that's like going to protect the island, the future of the island. You don't get to show remorse now. You don't get to back down now. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it felt weird. I'm still trying to kind of like fight my feelings on how I feel about it. He's always been so sure of what he needed to do up to this point, like regardless of, I mean, everyone's been trying to talk him out of it. Because Armin, everyone's been like, no, there's so many other ways to do this. Think about other people that are just people. They're not trying to harm us. They just exist. And he's known that. He's met so many people. I mean, he met all of the little children in Marley. And that was a big thing you thought would have changed his mind as well. Being like, oh, these are just fucking kids just trying to do their best. And he still said, nope, gotta kill them, fuck them. But then he meets this random Middle Eastern child.
Potentially, I don't know. Well, shout out to Ramsey and Halil, RIP as well.
I guess they randomly decided to start hitting a different war since they've been hitting the World War II for so long. They're like, let's go to the Iraqi war and see how that works. So he did that, and I was just like, I don't. It feels like a weird break in his character that I'm not sure that fits the style right now. I like his conviction. I think that's what makes him so scary as a protagonist and antagonist. Was his conviction was so strong throughout all of this, and now he's breaking.
Yeah.
That man traumatized his father.
He went back in time to do that.
He went back in time to.
You tell me this man's worried about one random kid getting beat up when he traumatized his own fucking father in the pet? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I mean, like, yeah, that's why when I wrote it down, I put remorse in quotes because I'm like, I don't know. I'm not 100%. But I do like that. For one thing, those kids, if anyone didn't realize this, they were in the last episode, which for everyone was a year ago, little under a year ago. We saw those kids partying and drinking. Not drinking. They weren't drinking. Everyone else was drinking and partying and eating at that little campsite that they had one last good time. So I thought that was a nice callback to them, and it kind of humanized them even more. And then we get to see them get squished about 30 seconds later.
Oh my God.
You see his teeth start to shatter.
This show will kill children. They do not give a fuck about killing kids. They are Anakin Skywalker all the way when it comes to this shit. And I love it.
That was nuts.
Children die in this. In war, children die. And that was a big thing about like kind of what this show is talking about as a whole, with its allegories around, like Judaism and, Hitler and stuff like that. Children were some of the highest population of who were killed.
And that's one thing as well that I wrote, which we'll talk about later at a big moment of the episode, is that we forget all of our main characters are children still, right? Are they not?
They're teenage age. I think he might be 19, Aaron, at that point.
I feel like they're like young adults now.
Yeah, like young adults. I mean, 19 is still super. Think about what we were doing at 19 years old.
They're still teenagers, is what I'm saying.
We were still children at 19 years old.
I feel like the whole coup part, they were like definitely like early 20s, maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Yeah,
I would say they're between 18 and 20 right now.
Yeah.
So to give kind of context, we're looking at maybe like, I don't know, late euphoria age.
There's no adult, basically. There's no adult around supervision, basically, for these children who have done nothing but fight all their lives almost.
I mean, Falco and Gabby, what are they like? They're probably like 14, to be honest. They're really young.
Yeah, or maybe even younger.
Maybe even younger than that, maybe
12, 13. Yeah. But I mean, like, as far as Aaron goes, I don't know if I believe it, but I liked the story structure of them jumping between him saying, I'm sorry, to showing the destruction that he is causing. I really liked that a lot. And it made me think, and I think that's what this show is going to end up doing.
The only thing I can say, just to play devil's advocate, is I think it was showing you that he, because he used to be one of the heroes and kind of the main character, right? Just showing that moment of doubt of like, was this the right way? I think that was showing, because like he's been a stone cold, just like villain for so long now. And so I think that was kind of a callback to like, hey, remember when Aaron was a good guy? So that was his good side, but I'm still not buying it.
And that's the thing that I thought, and I think we probably talked about it last time we talked about the show, is there's still a part of me that thinks that, and this episode maybe changed my mind, but not 100%, where I'm still hoping there's a conversation with Aaron. I'm hoping there is still room for a conversation. I don't think I'm fully on board that he is the antagonist, because I know a lot of people compare this. This is like the Breaking Bad of anime in terms of a character turn. it's not as good for me personally. I think it's very good, but there's parts of me, and I think maybe it is the kid aspect where I'm like, this kid just they need to sit down. There's never been a conversation until this episode, which maybe changes my mind a bit, but I'm still kind of interested. And I think if they don't have any kind of conversation, I will be disappointed. But I don't know, except for Brian.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those hard kind of things where it's like, I put in my notes security versus morality, where it's like, is it worth being the bad person if it does end up saving your people at the end? I mean, it's kind of what Last of Us, what we've talked about for a while. It's kind of where that sits around it, where it's like, how far will you go to protect those that you love? That's kind of the allegory around this, where it comes to, because everyone thinks they're doing the right thing. There's no such thing as people being just villainous for sake of villainy. Everyone's just trying to get by is kind of how life is, and that's the gray area that this show kind of explores. For him, it involves killing the entire population that is not his race. That's tough. But at the same, like you said, like you see his remorse where he's like, am I doing the right thing? It's just like, that's hard to say, because if you don't do this,
what would mom think? And that's why I think I want a conversation, because clearly he's not talking to anyone. He's saying it to himself. So clearly he means that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, you're 100% right. I definitely didn't have that much more to say about it. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about, like you said, a child. And a child often thinks, especially people like in your teenage years, you think in such absolutes. There's no room for negotiation when it comes to being just at that age, because you just don't think there's any other choices. And I think that's kind of what he's wrestling with. But it's like, will there be a situation where he'll be able to actually see someone that will be like, hey, there is other options that you're not exploring. Fucking get with it. Get real.
I mean, it didn't help that Aaron is kind of a fucking lunatic since birth, it looked like. Literally, he's always been on
like
his very first sentence in the anime is about him wanting to kill all the fucking...
Yeah.
That's why I think it always comes back to that, is like, that's why it's him, is because he just has that, determination, but also the kind of crazy side where it's like, I'm just going to go for it, like when other people would back down. So
right. But that's where I also had a question concerning this, in the sense that in a later scene, we see him planning with Yelena about what they're going to do. And it sounds like they aren't planning to destroy everything. They're basically just destroying all of the ports and destabilizing every country so that the island can be safe for decades, millennia. So it's not, so that's why I was like, oh, so he doesn't want to kill everyone then?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll know in part 2 if he gets to the airbase, right?
Right. I don't know. It's. I just thought that was an interesting wrinkle.
I think that was, I the way it comes across in my mind, it was that he wasn't actually thinking of trying new things. I think that he thought that the foolproof solution was to completely destroy everything.
Right.
Even at that point, even though it probably would have done plenty for his people in his lifetime, he just was thinking too far ahead of that, and that might be part of his seeing the future and stuff like that. He's seen timelines of Eldia destroyed and stuff like that, and his other timelines. And I just think that he was like, no, that's not enough. It'll never be enough. It's not enough until no one else exists to make us unsafe.
Well, yeah, they even say that quote where he says he saw the outside world and he was disappointed with it, so he wanted to wipe it all away.
Yeah.
God complex.
Well, my boy is Hitler real hard.
it's pretty rough. I got a question for you guys. What do you do if you see that coming? I wrote it down. It's like the ultimate game of dodgeball. Like, do you try to dodge feet? Is that what you're trying to do? Like, what do you do?
Why does no one try to go underground? Does no one have cellars?
That's a good fucking point, actually.
It looked like underground would have worked.
Like, they don't hit that deep into the ground when they step. Go underground, bro.
Solid point. Yeah.
Fucking call it a fallout shelter and live your fucking life afterwards. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right? Because it's not like they're coming backwards. They're like, you just got to avoid them one time and you're good.
Them motherfuckers stupid. They tripping over each other. They so dumb. Yeah, I didn't like that they didn't. No one thought about that. I figured someone would be like, okay, we can just go to our wine cellar and we'll be fine. Nope.
Well, but I think in one shot, they're like the force of one of their legs moving like created this like wind and sent all this debris flying. Like, so
it's also really hot. They're all very hot.
That is one thing I totally forgot until later in this episode. I was like, oh, I forgot. It's like 1,000,000 degrees in there.
Yeah. All the really, really tall Titans for some reason expel even more heat than the normal ones.
They're coming just by the steam cloud. Like, oh shit. Like,
yeah.
That's terrifying, dude. At some point you just gotta die. There's no choice.
You just gotta hope it's quick. That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Ugh, yeah, that was rough.
It was not quick for Halil.
Because see, it's one of those things where every other anime would go up to that point and be like, are we gonna destroy the world? And then they always, of course, the heroes would save the day and that wouldn't happen. But Attack on Titan, they're like, we're gonna go there. And
Yep.
and yeah,
We
we're
got the
gonna show
rumbling.
you it like
There it
a
is.
good old montage of it for about 5 minutes.
Montage of death.
There was a
It's
lot of
so awful.
montages of some walking and some death. And
Yeah.
people just crying and screaming and pissing and shitting.
Oh.
Let's quickly jump ahead. Listeners, we're going to circle back to some nitty-gritty stuff, but we want to hit some big highlights first. Speaking of death, we got to talk about it. R.I.P. The one and only crazy lunatic, that lover of Titans, Hanji.
Alexa, play Katy Perry Firework.
Oh, damn. No. No.
I feel weird about this death just as a whole. That was crazy. That was just wild what you just said. I can't even.
You just gotta ignite.
I was gonna pretend I didn't hear it.
And let it shine.
Oh, Lord.
I love and hate this death so much because it's in such happiness almost.
Yeah.
Because she just knows what she has to do, and she just does her job, and she loves it. She loves what she does. She's always loved what she does
Mhm.
until the end. Fuck.
And this goes to my point that with her death, there are officially like no actual adults left. Like it's now just up to these fucking children and young adults to save the world. She was the last like supervisor, quote unquote, amongst them. Really? Yeah, dude. I was like you. Like I wasn't so much in tears because she's ending her life on a high in the sense that she's telling jokes, and she's even telling Levi like, I want to end great, like with the best. I like don't make this sad. Like I want to end on a high, you know. And literally goes out in a literal blaze of glory.
Man.
They popped her like a tick.
The way that progressed, by the end, I was kind of like, I was just kind of laughing because, like, first it's like, you know, her cape catches on fire a little bit, and you're like, she's fine still. And then like they cut back, and she's like, her whole
She's just
body's
on fire.
I'm like,
and then explodes because of her
like,
gear.
That escalated quickly. Jesus.
But man, she went out like a champ though. She took
Yeah.
out like 8 Titans.
And she did the 300 thing that even while completely engulfed in flames, still managed to kill another one.
Yep.
She did a pretty good job.
I wrote down a thing that they shouldn't call it the rumbling. They should call it the stumbling, because that's all they do if you take one of them legs out. They're all
just kill the first
all
ones.
just fall.
Yeah, just put a fucking tripwire, and they're all just
Right?
If
you
only
win.
while we had all these ships, the whole world combined fleet, if only they had one rope and they just laid it out across their border. Ugh,
Yeah.
one rope, that's all you
Yeah.
needed.
Oh,
Yeah, I think full strength Levi could definitely take out that entire like amount
man,
of
speaking
those
of Lee,
colossal
I
titans.
need this dude to just get better. I am so sick of pissy, weak ass. I need him to hurry up. I need him to get his Wolverine on and recover some mutant style shit. I'm sick of him being all busted.
they had to nerf him. He was too strong.
They did.
Yeah.
Man was too good at what he did.
I'm just like, come on, dude.
They did the same thing with Mikasa. She was just too strong, so that'd make her not do shit anymore.
But yeah, one important element right before her death, she makes Armin commander, which I was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome, and he is absolutely the right choice. And I've been the biggest Armin stan.
I know
one.
exactly why you love Armin, because Armin is exactly like Tails and Sonic.
He's
They're the
Tails,
same
bro.
character.
He's Tails, man.
I
Armin
hate it.
sucks,
I'm
dude.
telling you,
I
man.
hate
He's
Armin.
annoying and doesn't know his own strength and always doubts himself, and the shit fucking sucks.
But he's the
Tails.
leader when it comes down to it. He's the one with the plan.
Oh god.
He's
He
the
does,
smartest
he does
one.
make some pretty good plans.
Without him,
Yeah.
they would be
It's
fucked.
also not a great job to have at the moment. Nobody wants that job, dude.
You remember his plan
it's
where he
true.
just got shot the fuck up? Yeah, that was a great plan.
And continuing with Hanji again, where kind of Brian was saying, it's not so much sad. It is sad, but like I left this kind of feeling happy for her because there's an afterlife. They straight up show some kind of afterlife, dude.
I don't know how I feel about it. It was a little corny. I think they just wanted to have a win because there's been
Yeah.
so few wins, especially over the
This
last
was the
season.
most Pokemon moment of this entire show.
That's the thing. It gave me the exact same feeling as when Pikachu talked to Ash in that one
Yeah.
movie, where he's like,
Yes.
"It's because I love you." And it's like, we didn't need that.
Oh, no.
We didn't need that. So when she like wakes up, it's like, "What happened? Is the rumbling? What happened?" They're like, "You did
Yeah.
great, Hanji."
Yeah.
No,
But I think it's kind of cool because they talked about it. What didn't they talk about before Hanji went? It's like, you know, I gotta respect our fallen comrades and like do it for them, right? So it's kind of just like a little homage to like
For
Yeah.
sure.
You did good by us.
And we got to fucking see Irvin again.
Yeah,
we got to
which
see him
we
again.
need
and I
it.
guess they're all just watching as this goes down.
I was mostly upset. I was like, where the fuck is my homegirl Sasha? Where the fuck is Sasha at? You son
Eating
of a
potatoes
bitch.
somewhere.
And is the afterlife just on the regular Earth too? Because like the afterlife kind of sucks if it's all just overrun by Titans. Also, like
Just wherever you die, you just wake back up and you're just like, fuck, I died alone. Shit.
like
Yeah.
she woke up in a footprint, and I'm like, man, that's not the Valhalla that I want. Like,
I wonder if it's only like this is the heaven for people that get killed by a Titan.
No one else even gets there. Fuck, I died in Wisconsin. Shit.
oh,
Yeah, so
man.
it was a sad moment, but it made me feel better, especially when he's like, "You can tell us all about it. Like we have time. Tell us the stories of
Mhm.
what you did." And it was a nice beat. I get it's pretty corny and cheesy, but in a show that's filled with at this point nothing but despair and hopelessness, having a glimmer of hope for someone who's already dead is kind of nice.
I don't think there's been a happy moment in this show in a long time. So
It's been a
yeah,
minute. It's been a
ever.
minute.
when Sasha was eating some potatoes, that was pretty cool.
I was going to
True,
say when she got
true.
her potato.
The training camp, the first training camp.
Yeah. All right, let's jump ahead. Now we've entered chapter 2, Sinners. Let's talk about Aaron's mind palace and how I wrote in my notes. This is the biggest. Oh, hey, what's up? Come get some fuckers.
Oh
We're
my
not
God.
talking, but I'm just here to tell you that I don't want to talk.
Yeah,
And he literally says that almost verbatim. It's like, so what's the point of this talk? To tell you that I don't want to talk.
right. And they spent like
Okay.
5 minutes before this being like, well, maybe if we, our option B is to fight him, but option A is to talk to him because, he's
Right.
not like a giant skeleton monster now. Like we could definitely talk to him. But yeah, it's like, I brought you here to discuss that there's no need to have a discussion. Like,
Yeah. It's so funny, man.
But that's kind of my thing. That it's like you talk about how like you still want a conversation to have, and I feel like that was the point. That it's like, no, this man says you got one way out. Either you kill me or I kill you. Fuck you.
I mean that like I wrote that was a great line where he's like, "There's one thing for us to do, fight." I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you got to respect him in the end. Like he could have just taken their powers away, I guess. But
Because that was a big
he
thing.
decided out of respect to let them give him a shot.
Because his whole thing is about the freedom of Eldia. And he's like, as
Yeah.
Eldians, I'm not going to take away your freedoms. You're free to do what you want. You're free to try to stop me. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Try and stop me. Like, that's crazy. Because he easily could dismantle all of them if he wanted to.
Yep.
And then completely, no matter what, would always win. But to do
Right.
that, to be like, no, you have the freedom to fight me if you want to save the world. Try it.
Yeah.
Fuck. What do I do?
I don't know.
Mhm.
And I think this whole episode, but particularly this part, is talking about a lot of themes of perspective and empathy and also control/freedom in the sense that he tells them, he's like, in order to obtain freedom, I will take freedom from the world. And then he tells them about like how, yeah, you guys can fight. We're going to fight. He says, you all have the freedom to stop me and I have the freedom to keep going. And it's in this moment here where I'm like, Aaron, I feel like he's kind of like, he sounded like a cult leader that's too deep in his own shit. Like like it's starting to get to a point where it's like, Aaron, that doesn't make any sense. And I think that goes to Armin's line at the very end of this, where he wants to ask him the question, how are you free? Because it's a good point. It's like, you're talking all this freedom shit, but it's like, dude, what are you talking about?
He's
at
literally
some point?
in the cage, and that's what's kind of, I guess, I mean, you're talking about a pretty big like allegory to this whole show, is the fact that it's like,
Yeah.
he talks about freedom so much, but you're literally in the cage of your own mind. Like your destiny was
Mhm.
set from the day that you were born, and
Right.
there is nothing that you could do about it. But then you claim about wanting to be free so much, where you were
Right.
doing exactly what you were told this entire time. Like, that is not freedom.
His body is literally a cage right now. The
Right.
body
Yeah,
that he's
literally.
in is a giant skeleton
Yeah.
cage. It's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah,
It is
he's
gross.
trapped. He's trapped in this narrative of his own design,
Yep.
essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I did like that Aaron just essentially zooms everyone in. He got on Zoom and was like, "All right, everyone, come here real quick."
That force call.
It's like, I know what y'all are thinking. Like, you're gonna be able to talk me down. Like, nope. Just go.
Yeah.
Just send it, bro.
Like I was saying earlier, I'm really still hoping there's a conversation, even a tiny one. Like I don't want it to end with they just kill him and there's nothing. Like I will feel kind of ripped off by that.
But I feel like if they beat him, I feel like they'll have a moment before he dies where he'll be able
Right.
to say,
I'm hoping so.
Some last villain or hero kind of thing. But if he wins, I don't know. I mean, who knows how this is going to end?
Right. And this is a theory that I feel like only Devin can kind of talk to about, because Brian knows how this ends, obviously. I wonder, because is it established that both Levi and Mikasa aren't Eldians?
So I think they're considered Eldians, but they're a special family of
Oh, okay,
Eldians,
okay,
is what
okay,
it
okay,
comes
okay.
down to.
So
Yeah, as
so Aaron
Ackermans.
still can control them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because she got zoomed in there as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Because everyone except for fucking Anya Capone was like, "What just happened?" 'Cause
They all fell fucking asleep afterwards, yeah. And he's like, I'm just a black guy. I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, I think the Ackermans had like a long lineage of like being like, I don't want to say stewards, but like helpers, bodyguards
Right.
toward the
Right.
royal family. It's supposed to be their big thing. But I think technically they're Eldians, but they're colored different. I think they say a word Oriental that's not
They're
kosher
Asian.
anymore.
They're the only actual Asian people
Exactly.
in the show.
I think everyone else is supposed to be considered technically white.
Right.
That's where like the
right.
steamship that came from that like basically Japan like island.
Yeah.
Right, with that woman that is earlier talking to Annie, which we'll talk about probably later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. Yeah, and then Aaron's like, peace out, whatever. And now they are like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what we do now except stop them somehow.
We're running out of gas.
I'm about to say that's when Onion Capone is like, I'm gonna do my shit. I'm gonna drive this plane so they don't got nothing else in it, brother. And we're like, okay, I guess he's finally doing something. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Mhm.
Those are kind of the big hitters. So let's quickly jump to the ending before we do some other fun stuff. That was potentially one of the greatest 5 minutes of my life. That ending, that all of that shit. The music was on point. It looked incredible. For one thing, really, the Beast takes out the whole fucking flight of bombers.
I
like
hate how overpowered the Beast Titan's throw ability
Where is he getting the rocks?
I think it's the bone.
Yeah, I think it's the bone this time that he's like melted
Does he
into.
secrete them from his hand? Like he's hanging there. Where is he getting them?
I've always hated the Beast Titan because everyone has such interesting skills, and then there's him, baseball player. We got homegirl is a cart. We got other person makes a warhammer. This one freezes their body to turn into this crazy stones that you can't hurt them. Then you got motherfucker baseball player, professional.
He can throw a fastball.
MLB pitcher, number 97. Yeah. What does that have to do with being a beast? First of all, what fucking beast you're not gonna throw rocks like that? Whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
It's so overpowered. Yeah. He took out an entire fleet when they were fighting those other humans. He took out I mean, it's just I hate it. It's unbalanced.
Someone needs to just eat Zeke. Eat him. Don't kill him anymore.
I do like that Zevi. I just shipped them by accident. I do like that Levi just like still holds a grudge. He's like, I need to kill this man.
Yeah, the world is ending as long as I kill Zeke. I'm happy, and I really think that's how what will happen. Like he'll kill Zeke, and then Aaron will kill him somehow. But Levi's gonna die a happy man as long as he kills Zeke.
Right. I mean, he's like, I got 2 fingers. That's all I need, bro.
That shit was wild. He said, I got 2 fingers. That's enough. Huh?
And 1 eye.
Bro, your depth perception is gone. There's nothing. Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah. But yeah, like, I think we were talking about this earlier. Like, I kind of forgot what happened to Zeke for a second. And so it's kind of, I was like, oh, Aaron is just literally controlling his hanging body.
Yeah. Zeke got a little traumatized.
Right.
Totally forgot about that he was even still alive.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like that, all of that ending was incredible. The moment the music kicks in as Rhina turns into the armored titan, that was amazing. That was incredible. I was so hyped. And it makes it that much worse that it just fucking ends.
Yeah. Such a badass start to a fight.
You know how it fucking ends? Because there's 4 volumes left of this goddamn... You know how long it takes to read 4 volumes? Maybe 20 minutes.
I was going to say like 5 seconds.
Like if you're a slow reader, maybe 20 minutes it'll take you that long. This show is over. It is over. Yeah. Wild to me. It's fucking...
Yeah.
So I do like, again, they're playing with the whole perspective and empathy, how there is that, they take a moment that shows the Marleyans being like, oh shit, are the Eldians here to stop the rumbling? Are they here to help us? And I hope they continue that. I hope there is something like, oh, we're sorry that we hunted and didn't think that not all of you are the devil.
Right. That commander put it pretty well. He's like, I vow if we survive this that, we won't let our divisions drive us to hatred again. Because he's like, look, they're marching our hatred right back at us. And that is such a good way to sum up the show of like all the
That was some Robert E. Lee ass shit right there. I feel like Robert E. Lee said stuff like that after the Civil War, where he was like, yeah, man, we want to get rid of this shit. I don't want to fight for this anymore.
Yeah, because it always does come back to bite you in the end. Like, like that's, I think the whole point of the show is showing how one of the big themes is that people on all sides think they're doing the right thing, and we're all just people at the end of the day, right? And like to see the impact of your actions that you tried to like suppress this threat, which, to be fair, is a pretty big threat. But the way that Marley handled it, and then to have that blow up in their face, and then it's kind of their fault. The rest of the world is in danger now. I mean, so he's like, hey,
Right.
Hand up. If we get out of this, let's sing some Kumbaya.
And that's a big if.
We all promise to be real chill and not do anything bad anymore.
Yeah.
It is also pretty cool that everybody's family is on that hill, like watching them.
I was literally going to say, for one thing, Reiner's mom is like, now she's sad. And it's like, oh, it's a terrible mom. I'm like, all right, okay. But made me bring up the question that I wanted to ask you guys. One, is Reiner going to die in front of his mom? Two, is Reiner the most tragic character in this fucking show?
Absolutely. This man, between him and Aaron, it is a pretty rough struggle.
I love him so much at this point. I'm just like, oh, I can only see his ending being tragic.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's Falco. I feel like Falco's only had fucking L since this man is starting to exist.
That's true.
Only because he just wants to be the best that he can be. I think a big thing that we forget about being a Titan and getting like the king's powers or whatever is you only get 13 years to live once you get that injection.
Or so they say. We've had a theory that's like, has anyone just dropped dead before, like on day 13? We don't know. That could be made up. Half of the history they talk about in this shit is
bullshit.
Even real.
Isn't even real. Yeah. But that's the whole thing. It's supposed to be like the curse of Ymir is that you can't live longer than Ymir did, who she only lived, like 15 years, something like that.
Right.
Aaron's already done 9. That means he's got about 4 years left. So even at his best, if he kills everybody and does all this, motherfucker still dies anyway.
It's true.
Fucking same with Reiner. He's probably around the same like time period, things like that. Like you were destined for tragedy just by having this power. This shit sucks.
Yeah.
Who wants this?
Yeah.
The fact that people take it willingly is crazy. Like you're only 12, and that means you don't even live to see 30. Most of these people won't even live to see 30 at their best.
I mean, as far as Annie and Ryan and them, they didn't really have a choice.
Right.
They were forced into this shit.
Right. I mean, but that just goes to show you, like, the Eldians that were in Marley were so indoctrinated to like that this is the best way to provide for your family, whatever. And like, I mean, you would gladly lay down your life for that kind of thing, especially if
it showed it was their only way to get out of being treated like shit. If you had that fucking armband, they were only slightly nicer to you.
Right. You were almost a secondhand citizen.
Yeah.
Right.
Redheaded stepchild.
So before we get into our potential predictions for what will happen, let's take a bit back real quick. I want to mention one thing at the very prologue. Is that Aaron? Was that Aaron chilling, seeing the whole future in front of him? Is that why he wakes up from his nap crying? And Miko's like, "Hey, what's up? What you doing, bro?"
For a second,
like,
I thought they were gonna do some dream shit to us, where like the whole thing
had
been a dream. And like he just wakes up and it's like before the events of oh my god.
That would be kind of fucky, bro. I might actually like that.
Oh, I would hate that so much. I would hate it. But like
that'd be funny.
For a brief second, I was like, wait a minute. And it's like, oh, okay, it's just a flashback, thank God.
Yeah. I want to talk about Annie and Armin.
I hate it.
You hate it?
I hate it.
They brought that out of nowhere.
Like, he did
they
talk to
alluded
her.
it a little bit in past seasons with when he tells her like, "Oh yeah, I heard you talking to me all the time when I was frozen. I know all the shit you said to me. I heard it all, you fucking loser."
Well, yeah, but that's what Annie, I think, would say. But then, in this episode, she's like, "Oh, but it meant so much to me to like, to hear you." Like, I think OG Annie, the gangster Annie, would be like, "Fuck you, Armin. You're not on my level."
Gangster Annie.
Yeah,
no, Annie's all out of fight. She was the most useless Titan in this whole fucking show.
It makes me so sad, dude.
Oh my god, she just walked away though. Like they need you to save the world, and she's just like, nah.
I couldn't believe they lost like one of their best weapons. I couldn't believe it.
I was about to say, she's the only one that can actually fucking fight.
Yeah, she's one of the best ones in there.
I get it, but also, Annie, you had like one fight, dude. What the hell are you talking about? You fought Aaron and then got frozen. You didn't do. What do you mean you tired? You've been napping in the crystal for like 5 years.
Bitch, you well rested. What you mean?
You have 0 injuries.
You get plus 10 XP for the next 24 hours.
You're the only one left of us that's fully able-bodied. Like,
oh god, yeah, it's one of those things. It's kind of like any fight's too much fight, I'm sure, but at the same time, girl, what the fuck? If you don't get your ass out there,
I thought she'd have a change of heart or something, but no, she literally just walked away.
She said no,
and like left them. It's like,
and
cool.
I respect that, but I also love that. I don't think I've ever seen Annie smile up until this episode when she gives Rhina a hug and said goodbye. I was like, I think that's the first time I've seen Annie smile. And then let's quickly continue talking about Annie. Let's talk about this female Titan shit that they allude to in this, where Apparently, the female Titan can manifest the abilities of other Titans. I guess that's the female Titan's quote unquote power, is that they're the best at manifesting, which is a little shaky,
It
in
seems
terms of that.
convenient.
Yes.
Yes, this is some classic stuff they bring out late game.
I
for
mean,
many
this is kind of
sagas.
some like, this goes into a bigger conversation of what is a female that we are not qualified to talk about in terms of manifesting something. I think that's what they're alluding to, and it's just like a little shaky.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I could not help, and I'm sorry, listeners, I could not help but think when she says how the female Titan is able to manifest things, and she literally has a line that says, "I had to swallow all sorts of stuff," and I was like, "Oh boy, that's what are you doing, guys? What are we doing here? What are we doing
Did
here?"
we remember what anime is like? The tropes of anime?
I forgot I was watching an anime until that moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a
man.
little rough. I didn't know if that was just translation issues or if they were really trying to make that joke. I hate it either
I
way.
don't
The thing
know.
is, Attack on Titan has done such a great job of like not doing stuff
Right.
like that.
Right. So it
But-
was yeah, it was a little odd.
It's just something.
Maybe they
There's a
snuck that one
Cart
in there.
Titan, the Attack Titan, the Warhammer Titan, and the woman.
Which I think we've talked about in past ones where it's like, I want to know what happens if Falco ate Annie. Is he the female Titan? Like, that's a different conversation. I just
No,
want
I
to
mean,
know.
I think she's just another armored Titan, really, isn't it? But it's like because she's because
I
she
don't-
happened to be a woman,
it's
the
weird.
woman Titan.
It's weird. It's weird. We all know it. But what
Yeah.
this leads to is my question is, for one thing, Falco apparently is manifesting some memories / dreams of Zeke's because that was Zeke's spinal fluid that he swallowed. And a big memory is of him flying. Is Falco gonna fucking fly? Dude, what the fuck are we doing?
My
I
man's
don't
name is Falco.
know.
I only know.
It's true.
I only know one Falco. He's from Star Fox, and he's a fucking bird.
If this is just like an elaborate way for them to like have a change of heart and like get in the fight to like,
Oh,
you
I
know,
think they're
make it to
showing
the
up.
battle.
Hell yeah.
But like,
Gabby's
I'm
been
excited.
gat
I
blasting
don't know.
for how many seasons now? Let her gat blast some more.
Yeah. I want to see the motherfucker fly. I want to see what that looks like.
Did any of the Titans fly?
No.
No,
Before
which is
that?
why I don't understand where Zeke's memory of the Beast Titan is him flying. What are we talking about? I'm very curious.
I guess they've been different
I don't
beasts
know.
throughout the centuries or whatever.
I guess.
Is this supposed to be the big
You know
thing?
what? Holy shit, you just made me think of something. There is one of the intros to one of the seasons where it's the Beast Titan running, and there's a bunch of different animals
Mhm.
running next to him.
It looks like
Oh,
fucking
shit.
Transformers.
Yeah, it does. It looks like some Beast Wars shit.
Yeah.
And that's good. Interesting. But yeah, I want to see someone fly.
It's going to be some
Fuck it.
ridiculous stuff. And by the time it comes out, I'll completely have forgotten about
Right?
this whole little conversation. I'll be like, why are they flying to the battle?
Listen,
That's
I
true.
don't want Falco to do anything. I hate his character more than I hate Gabby
Damn.
because he's just Aaron but worse. He's Aaron but weaker. Just a
Well,
crybaby.
no, I was going to say Gabby's like the mirror character for Aaron.
She's definitely the mirror in terms
Oh,
of
absolutely.
anger.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that man is always just crying, just sad.
If they
Right.
do go to the battle, though, Gabby's just going to like be herself, I guess, because she doesn't have any kind of Titan thing, right?
Right.
So she'll just like land. She can't use ODM gear. But Gabby does have just ferocity. So she'll
Homegirl
figure
was
something
whipping
out.
the shit out of that 50 caliber sniper.
I'm about to
Like,
say she shot Aaron's
Yeah.
head off.
She did. She should bring that.
He's like, I got
She got
ODM
hella
gear.
aim.
I got fucking a Titan, and I got my fucking Gat Blaster. Like, oh, okay, yeah, she wins. Got her.
My Smith & Wesson 50 cal.
That's about it. Last quick mention. We can't help but mention, even though he sucks. I'm glad Flock is dead finally.
Why did he come back in the first place?
He died in the dumbest way.
He had to stall them for 30 seconds.
That was the most animation. They really expect this man was shot. He was shot like 2-3 times already, and then they're like, "Oh, you held onto the boat for like days." I'm like, "You're telling you want me to believe that he was hanging onto a boat
Not bleeding out.
the whole time? He was like wet. Like they made that very clear that he had like not at some point been a stowaway on the boat. Like, he was literally just hanging on to the edge of it from the outside
for like
as
days.
the rushing water while you're mortally wounded. Of all the ridiculous things
Yeah.
in this anime, that was maybe the most ridiculous thing we've
My
seen.
man meant he was going to save the world by any means necessary.
I just love how they brought him back. He's all fucked up already. They brought him back. He gets fucked up again, and then he just gets crushed and stepped on by Titans.
And after all of that, he doesn't even kill
He
anybody.
doesn't kill
All he does is put a few
It's
holes in the
so
fuel tank.
funny.
That's it, bro. After all that.
Hey, you know what? Technically, he probably killed Hanji. She would not have to do as she did if they just
Fair
gassed
enough.
up and take
That's
off.
true. If they
So,
got full tank.
yeah.
But like,
Don't want to
good
give him
Lord.
credit because he sucks, but yeah.
God damn.
Yeah,
That's
he
so
was
funny.
the worst.
That's so funny. That's pretty much it. So credits. Obviously, I was upset that there was no intro. So badass anime intro, but they did have a new song at the end by SIM or Sim. I don't know. It's the same people that did the Rumbling song from season 4.
Which
Dope
one?
song Under the Tree.
One best song Crunchyroll Awards or whatever.
Oh really?
Yeah, the Rumbling.
Ooh,
Oh nice. That's funny.
cool.
Yeah, so cool new song. It's from Mikasa's perspective. There's some kind of corny shit about a scarf in the lyrics, but it's funny.
What if she chokes him out with the scarf at the end?
Oh god.
Right.
His
Oh,
fucking
Jesus.
scarf.
She kills him.
That's well, that leads into our next thing. What do we think's gonna happen, Devin?
Okay, so Mikasa's gonna strangle to death. No.
This was yours, idiot.
Yeah. All right. So prediction time. I think they're gonna find a way to win. I think Levi's gonna kill Zeke and then he'll die. I think Armin's gonna do something. I don't know. Somehow they're gonna.
He's got to end up with Annie, bro. They can't just put that in there and then nothing happens. Or one of them has to sacrifice for the other. Something.
Right. I think Reiner will die for sure. But
Oh,
I
he's
think
totally
either
dead.
way, I think they will get Eren. They will extract him out of this structure. They'll, incapacitate him somehow. He'll start dying. He'll give him one last thing, and then they'll kind of be left with this like, what do we do now?
Right.
And I think Armin will live because he'll be kind of one of the most important people to rebuild the world.
Well, yeah, I did like that they allude to like, Armin, you are our last plan. If everything goes south, you colossal tighten his ass and take him out. That is the last plan we got. But I do wonder if everything does happen in what you're saying, do you think people go back to the island to live?
Like Eldians or like
Anyone? Do you think anyone, Eldians or Marlians, do you think people go back there to live, or do they stay on this prime continent, so to speak?
That's a good question because I feel like, yeah, I don't know. The whole issue is the Titans, right? So I don't think you can have a situation where the Titans are on, like, people that can turn into Titans are on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's the whole point, is that they learn to just kind of live with that. Right. But I think what will happen is that Eldians will go back to the island and they just kind of agree to have peace. But who knows? That would be very anti-Attack on Titan, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are your predictions, Oscar?
I'm in the same boat. I do wonder, and I don't think so because I think they've already done their big time travel plot holy shit moment with Eren and his father. But there was a part of me a long time ago that thought, I wonder if there's going to be a big time traveling element to this finale of some kind. Either this is Eren's whole plan and he knew that he would be stopped, and in which case I want a fucking explanation why you did it in the first place, or something. And also I definitely want to see Amir have something to say because she's also in that mind palace with Eren, as we've seen her in this episode multiple times.
Yeah.
And what happens in that? Yeah, well, there's got to be something in that realm, and something that either ends Amir's fucking terrible life that she's still in this kind of weird plane, or something that gives her peace. I don't know.
Well, she's been silent the whole time, right? I don't think she's ever said anything.
Oh, that's true. She didn't say anything when Zeke and Eren were in there together, did she? She was just kind of standing chilling.
I mean, the most emotive thing she's done is because her eyes were always down, and then when Eren was like, yo, let me have the power, and then we can fuck everybody over. And then she her eyes went up, and
right.
It's like, oh shit, she went for it.
She liked that plan.
So I don't know, but you know what? We're both wrong because the show cannot let us be happy. So whatever the ending will be, it's gonna suck.
Actually, I just thought of a new prediction. I bet you the show will never actually end.
It's a Grey's Anatomy. They'll just keep having children and they'll just keep rumbling.
That is pretty much it. Brian, I was going to quickly ask you, how does this compare to the manga, just this episode? Is it pretty much it?
Yeah, I mean, they hit the panels of like the pretty heavy stuff pretty well.
Yeah.
I definitely think so. I definitely think like Hanji's death and things like that, they definitely really knocked it out of the park as far as like animation goes and like bringing those panels to life. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
nice.
they've been keeping pretty true to this manga so far, and I think that's been a testament to how hard Mappa is actually working. Even though they're working too fucking hard,
right? Yeah,
they are trying to keep it, well.
They need a damn break.
God, yeah. They didn't need to take as many fucking projects as they did. That's whole though.
Two quick things before we move on. I have to tell you guys the story of what I originally thought this show was before I watched it, because all I heard was Attack on Titan. The entire time in my brain, I thought this was like a space epic opera that took place on Saturn's moon of Titan. Like, I took the title very literally.
That's not a bad guess. Instead, it became Naked Monsters.
Yeah, it was not what I thought at all.
It's basically just Neon Evangelion, but with meat suits instead of mechas.
You know what would be cool? Oscar, you said the intro. I think the original intro for the last episode, whenever they do, like when they do release it in the fall, just give me the original intro from season one more time. Like that's the best anime intro ever.
That would be.
I mean, I don't think anything comes close.
Yeah, they haven't even attempted to call back to that at all. So that would be kind of fun. Yeah,
that song, man. The beginning.
I just hope they do have some kind of intro. I want something.
Right.
I don't know if we will based off of this one, but I don't know. And last thing, Devin, if you wouldn't mind to dipping out for a minute so I can have this conversation with Brian and ask him a question real quick.
Got you.
We'll signal you. Listeners, spoilers for The Last of Us, particularly The Last of Us Part 2. This so mute or skip ahead, check the time codes. Brian, this show at a point is no different than The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of Abby and empathy. And so I find it hilarious how mad people got about that. And I do wonder if, like, especially with the show season 2, how people will feel, especially with this show, because I think this show is all about empathy at this point and perspectives, and I just find it very interesting, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think people are going to be equally as mad when it comes down to it, when it comes to what's the ending of the show and how it kind of all plays out. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Sorry about that, Devin. You're free to come back.
Great.
That is it, listeners. That is the main topic. Looking forward to finally, potentially seeing this end in, they say, fall 2023. We got a little teaser, but I'm not saying shit till we see a date.
Listen, whatever happens, the next episode, I'm out. I don't even care.
No, you're not.
Like, they release them separate. I'm out. You get one more release, and I'm done. I'm done with this shit.
Oh, that's so funny.
If there's any more delays longer than a week, I just don't even care anymore.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm very excited. All right, listeners, that is it. Guys, so we now move on to our final segment of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Which we like to call Free For All, Title Pending. This is a segment, listeners, we can kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something. We can talk about our day, talk about life, whatever we want. It's free for all. Who would like to go first?
I can go first. I have been watching an interesting show called Physical 100 on Netflix. It is a Korean show. It is a competition, basically, of all of the strongest people in Korea competing to see who can be the strongest. What's interesting about this show is that it's a bunch of, like, a lot of famous people in Korea that come from different walks of life. You have people that come, like, Olympic gymnasts, bodybuilders, MMA fighters. Some guys are just fucking car salesmen that happen to be really fucking jacked. Just like people from all walks of life, and just kind of showing you like what's like the strongest version of the body, which is kind of interesting to me. So some dudes are like big, yoked up, 350 pounds of just pure fucking fat muscle strong men. And other people are like 128 pounds of just pure fucking lean muscle, slippery otter kind of people. There's women, there's men. It's just a really interesting show that I've kind of found and gotten interested in. The dub is terrible. It is terrible.
Yeah, you can't.
But
do
it's
that.
so fucking funny. So I almost want to recommend people to watch the dub because they do this thing where they replay, like if a good like scene happens, like say someone, because you do a bunch of different kind of competitions. So basically the thing of the show is you'll do single competition, then you'll do a mix of like where you go like on teams and stuff like that. And they'll do different things that are different bases of strength, speed, power, stuff like that. It's got to get down to it. But they do this thing where if something cool happens, they'll replay it. But for some reason, I don't know if it's like this in the actual, the Korean language version of this, but in the dub, for some reason, they don't replay the same voice clips every time they replay a scene. They filmed it 3 separate times. So like, say somebody tackles somebody and it's like a huge tackle and they'll go, holy shit. Instead of just doing that 3 times, holy shit. They go, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And it's like, why did they do that? It's supposed to be the same clip. We saw him hit him the same way 3 times. Why did they?
So
but they do it so often. It's like, are they doing this on purpose? Like, I don't understand. Like, maybe this is a show that was supposed to have commercial breaks and existed somewhere other than Netflix before. But it's so fucking funny. I love this show, and I can't wait to watch more of it.
I feel like I've seen an ad for that.
I would highly recommend it. Korean sportsmanship is like none other. Like, these people are always like thanking each other and being super happy. So positive. Like no one's mean or toxic or awful. There's a random black guy in there, which I think is funny that speaks Korean. Uh, also, a couple white dudes that fled the country to play
I'm
Korean
about to
sports.
say, is that Anyan Capone?
It might as well be. His name is Miracle.
Oh,
I don't know where
okay.
the fuck he's from and what he fucking does. He's a big old black man with dreads, real strong. And there was also a baseball player
Nice.
that like played Korean baseball because he used to play MLB. Got too bad at it, so he had to run off and start playing, lesser baseball.
Hey, don't you slander the Korean baseball?
I don't want to slander Korean baseball, but I've known a lot of people to go play Canadian football once they stop being able to,
Yeah.
once their 40 got a little too slow. Next thing we know, they're playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. I was like, okay.
No, come on. We know they call them Maple Leafs. Gotta be.
They might actually. But yeah, I think that show's really great, and I would recommend it to anybody that just wants something kind of stupid to watch. It's not super intense. I think it's only maybe 8-10 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Good
Nice.
watch.
Digestible, love it.
I can quickly go next. Like I said in our main topic, I saw Creed 3 this past weekend.
Hell yeah.
No spoilers, but I will say a solid movie. Really, really solid movie. I guess this isn't really a spoiler because news was all about it. Ain't no Rocky in that shit. It is Creed. And I think by the end of it, for me, I kind of missed Rocky at times, especially with the story they're telling. If you've seen the trailer, it's very much Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan used to be buds in their youth. Some shit went down. One of them went to jail for 17, 18 years, comes back, wants to be champ. They fight because that's a movie. I will say Jonathan Majors is great. I want to see him more stuff because I think we've all probably noticed his acting. He has a interesting like cadence and like speech pattern to
I was going
him.
to say exactly that. Just based on what I saw in the trailer, I was like, he's got an interesting way that he
Yeah, and I want to know if that's purposeful or like because I don't think he's portraying the same character. Like for example, like Kang, as we just saw him, so it's fresh in my mind. But he does have like similar patterns to both characters, but obviously they're very different. I think he does a great job. But I'm like, I really hope that doesn't get old fast for him as an actor. Really,
he speaks almost like poetry.
a little bit, yeah. Which is great and it's beautiful and I love it and it's different. I hope that it doesn't get old fast.
Right.
But I think he's still very great. Obviously, both of them are fucking physically beasts.
That's some big
like,
boys.
My God.
Jesus Christ. They are
My
shredded.
God. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, like I kind of missed Rocky at times, but I also totally understand why they needed to have Creed be able to stand on his own. And I think he does that successfully.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Michael B. Jordan. He directed this movie his first time.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Oh.
He did a great job. He's talked about how much he's inspired by anime, not only in his life, but in this film.
Ooh.
And he wears it on his sleeve in this movie. And at times, it might be a little too much for people. It might take you out of the movie because I definitely saw it and I was like, I'm taken out of the movie, but I don't mind it. But I can definitely see how people are seeing a traditional boxing movie are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
When he starts powering up in the ring, his hair starts turning a yellow.
When he fucking did a Kamehameha to Jonathan Majors, people were like, what's going on?
Hey, that's a little too much. Maybe we did too much here. No, that's funny because Killmonger, he definitely says that his he helped build his armor and it was made based on Vegeta, and it's very obvious.
It was.
The similarities between Vegeta's armor and his. So it's
Oh wow,
yeah.
Absolutely.
that's super cool.
So yeah, it's fun, and I do appreciate that he was kind of experimental with his filmmaking. That was cool. But yeah, so solid movie. Like as far as ranking it amongst the 3 Creed films, I would say personally, it's probably the number 3 for me. But it's like number 3 on 3 great movies. So it's not bad at all. But I think it is like I think people might leave in this missing a little bit of Rocky. To be honest, I think Sylvester Stallone in the first 2 is phenomenal. And he has a subtle, nuanced performance in it. And, but I think there's some issues with pacing and some kind of plot stuff that's kind of predictable and also just like interestingly kind of weird in times. But I thoroughly enjoyed the movie though. And again, only like an hour and 56 minutes. So
Let's go under 2 hours,
5
baby.
hours.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tell a good story.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And also shout out to God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's always cool when like you learn like type A celebrities like that are like, oh, like, like Michael B. Jordan loves some Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Henry Cavill loves some more Warhammer and The Witcher. Like he read the Witcher books. It's like,
Right.
I read that too.
He's just like me.
Yeah, they're nerds also. Don't let their pecs fool you. They're rock hard abs. I can go quick. So I picked up a GameStop the other day,
GameStop. I didn't know those existed anymore.
Unfortunately, everything's on sale. Everything's on clearance.
Oh, it's really sad. But I picked up a copy of the Starfighter game and Mass Effect: The Legendary Edition, which I haven't installed yet, but it was only like $10, so it's great. But yeah, what happened was playing the Starfighter game has been a lot of fun. I've only done the story, I haven't done the multiplayer, but like there might be a button to like take the view like out to like behind the Starfighter, which I feel like happens in like Battlefront and stuff like that.
Are you talking about Rogue Squadron?
No, I'm talking about
Jedi Starfighter?
Or Squadron. It's called Squadron.
Okay.
The new one that came out recently.
Right. I was about to
It's
say.
not so new anymore. That shit came out years ago. That's fine.
Sorry.
I got that shit for free, but keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I've had a lot of fun with it, and it very much, they did a great job of like the sound effects and the graphics, and the fact that for me, I haven't figured out, and I don't really want to at this point, of like, but your default view is in the cockpit. So it's very immersive in that way. You really feel like you're in the battle because you know, and there's certain things you need to see in there or whatever. But I think they did a great job with the controls of like making it, you have to do certain things to like shift your power to like the blasters or your shields or your engines and, you know, just stuff like that. So I don't know. I've had a lot of fun with it, shooting down some TIE fighters.
It's a beautifully made game. I don't like
Yeah.
that kind of game. I don't like anything that's fucking ace combat shit like that. I'm not into shooters like that. But that game, just playing the story, I only played the story. There was no way I was gonna play online because I know I was gonna get my ass handed to me. But yeah, I did think it was a really beautiful game that I wish it gotten a little bit more traction than it did. I feel like nobody really cared about it when it came out.
Yeah, it definitely deserved more. And it's cool because you know, like, and you can kind of recreate stuff for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I finally got the controls down, you can like flip over and then like skim right across the surface of like a Star Destroyer.
Nice.
And then like come back, like just like they would do in the movies. Like it's just super, you know, you can do fun stuff like that. So
I think I also have it for free. I just haven't booted it up yet. I want to. That's just like I'll do it the whole time.
I would recommend if it's solely for the story. I do think it's really fun.
Right. Yeah. Because I believe, I could be wrong, that story might be Star Wars canon.
Oh.
I can't remember though, because there's some characters that people would recognize in that story. So
it's in that convenient, you know, in between phase
right,
where they don't have to quite say anything about the First Order, and they don't have to, you know.
Yeah,
it's like right before New Hope and right after Return of the Jedi. That's the golden area where you just hang out there forever.
Very nice. All right, that is our show, listeners. Don't forget, you can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com. Fortress spelled FOUR. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, recommendations, or anything like that. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cats. Rate and review us, preferably 5 stars, but whatever you deem us worthy. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art, Alex for the music, and Devin, thank you for being here, even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at ITZ_ by the way. Alex at Peterson Films, and Devin, you can find him probably fucking just reading the rest of the manga of Attack on Titan.
Yep.
Next week, who knows? Maybe it's maybe if Alex is here, we'll hear his perspective on The Last of Us, the entire show. Maybe something else. Who knows? I know Shazam's coming up and nobody's seeing it, but maybe we'll cover it and see it. That movie's not gonna make any money. Don't forget, happy holidays, everyone, and put a coat on. It's cold out there.
It really is. It's gonna be cold tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Fantastic. All right, listeners, we'll see you here next week in another episode of The Fortress of
The Forecast of.
You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine.